Start cooking at 4 in the morning. That was the first thing out of her mouth. No hello, no warm-up, just that. She slid a folded sheet across the counter like it was a receipt. I unfolded it. 20 names. Some I knew, some I didn't. A few I'd never even heard mentioned before. Friends of hers, I guessed. Work people, couples. We're eating it too, she added, already turning away. So 4 is safe. You'll manage. I stood there with the paper in my hand. The kitchen smelled faintly like old coffee grounds. Nothing else. No prep. No plan. Just me and that list. I didn't argue, honestly. That's the part I'm not proud of. I nodded. Like I always do. Muscle memory. I guess. She kept talking. About timing. About how she didn't want it to look last minute. About how embarrassing it would be if things weren't perfect this time. My son wasn't home yet. His car wasn't in the driveway, I asked. Calmly, does Daniel know about all this? She paused. Just a beat too long, then shrugged. He will. It's fine. Fine. That word again. People use it when they've already decided for you. I folded the list back up. My fingers were shaking a little. Not dramatic. Just enough to notice. I told myself not to overthink it. I'm good at that. Talking myself down. Making things smaller than they are. Quick check with you if someone hands you a plan that detailed, that confident, that late in the game, you know you're not part of the decision. Right. My name is Mara Whitcombe. 62, and standing there, I already knew this wasn't about food. I read the list again, slower this time. Aunt Carol, Uncle Ray, the Simmons couple, then names I didn't recognize, Erin's friends, people from her gym, a co-worker and her husband. This is a lot, I told her. I kept my voice even. I've learned tone matters more than words in that house. It's not that bad, Erin replied, already on her phone. It's basically family. Some of these aren't, I said, tapping the paper. I don't know half of them. She looked up, tight smile. They know me. That's enough. That landed wrong. I felt it in my chest. Small hit. Quick. So you invited everyone already, I said, not accusing, just confirming. Well, yes, she answered. No hesitation. People need notice. You know how embarrassing it is to change plans. There it was. Embarrassing. Not hard. Not exhausting. Embarrassing. She leaned against the counter, crossed her arms. It's just a family dinner. Nothing formal. I glanced at the list again. 20 people, multiple courses scribbled in the margins. Nothing about that felt casual. If it's family, I asked. Does Daniel know the full count? She laughed once. Short, sharp. He doesn't need every detail. He trusts me. That wasn't an answer. It was a dodge dressed up as confidence. I folded the list and set it down between us. I don't like being the last to know. Erin finally met my eyes. I didn't think it would be a problem. You're always so capable. Capable. Another word that sounds like praise until you live with it. I nodded. Again, I hate that I did, but I wasn't ready to push yet, not without knowing where my son stood. And that's when I realized something simple and ugly. This dinner already existed. I was just being slotted into it. Daniel came in close to midnight. Keys on the counter, shoes kicked off. He looked tired in that loose, distracted way that tells you his brain is still at work. Long day, he muttered, rubbing his face. Erin didn't look up. Tomorrow's going to be busy. He paused. Busy how? She waved a hand. People coming over. Nothing crazy. I watched him do the math in his head. He glanced at me. How many people? Family, Erin replied. A few friends? That's vague, he said, half smiling. like he was trying to keep things light. I stayed quiet. That was deliberate. I wanted to hear how far she'd go without me filling in the blanks. "What time are they coming?" Daniel asked. 2. She answered, then added, "Casual as anything. Mom's starting early. So we're covered." He turned fully toward me then. "Early," I shrugged. 4 in the morning. His smile dropped. Not dramatically. Just gone. For how many Aaron stepped in fast. "It's manageable. She's done this before." That did it. Not anger, something sharper, awareness. Daniel exhaled slowly. "You already invited people, didn't you?" She hesitated. Just a second. Then, "Of course. That's how hosting works." Silence stretched. Thick. I could almost hear him replaying the conversation he hadn't been part of. I folded my hands in my lap. My heart was loud. I hated that. Still do. "Mom," he said. Softer now. "Why didn't you say anything earlier? I wanted to see if you knew." I replied. Simple. True. He looked at the floor, then back at Aaron, then back at me. That's when I knew this wasn't just about dinner. It was about who got informed and who got assumed. Daniel followed me into the laundry room and pulled the door mostly shut. Not all the way, just enough to pretend this was private. I unfolded the guest list and handed it to him. He scanned it once, then again, slower. His jaw tightened. "This is everyone, yes? All of them invited already?" "Yes." He pressed his lips together. "Before tonight." "Yes." That landed. I watched it hit him. Not anger first. Embarrassment. The quiet kind that crawls up your neck. She told me it was small. He muttered, "I know." He ran a hand through his hair. "Why didn't you stop it?" I leaned against the washer. I wasn't asked. That stung him. I could tell. He nodded. Eyes on the floor. Like a kid realizing he missed a test he didn't know existed. "This puts me in a bad spot," he admitted. "I'm aware." He looked up then. "I'm not choosing sides. I didn't ask you to." Silence again. He glanced toward the door, toward Aaron's voice floating in from the kitchen, then back to me. "So," he started. "Careful now. Can you still do it?" There it was. The ask dressed up as concern. I didn't answer right away. I wanted him to hear the space where my answer should have been automatic. "It's a lot," he added. "But you've handled worse." That one hurt more than he meant. Compliment and burden rolled into one. "I can cook," I told him. "That's not the question." He frowned. "Then what is?" I folded the list and held it between us. Whether I should, he didn't respond. Not immediately. His face shifted, like something finally clicked into place but hadn't settled yet. "I need a minute," he said quietly. I nodded. I needed more than that. I didn't sleep. I lay there counting all the dumb moments I'd brushed off over the years. Little things. Plates left for me. "You're so good at this. You don't mind." Right, I minded. I just never made it loud. Around 3 in the morning, I stopped thinking. That was new. I didn't pack for a vacation. I packed for a strike. I left the guest list on the counter, right next to a raw onion and a knife. A silent instruction. If you want a banquet, start peeling. No slamming drawers. Just clothes I could carry without waking anyone. I left the fancy stuff behind, the kind Aaron liked me wearing when guests were around. I took sneakers, a sweater, my charger. That was it. The house was quiet, except for the hum of the fridge. One sound. Enough. I was pulling on my jacket when Daniel came out of the bedroom, hair a mess, eyes half open. "Mom," he whispered. "What are you doing?" "Leaving for a bit." He blinked, trying to catch up. "Now, yes." He looked down the hall, then back at me. "Because of tomorrow, because of today." I told him. He rubbed his face. "You don't have to do this." I nodded. I know. That seemed to confuse him more. I can talk to her. He added, we can fix it. I zipped the bag. I'm not trying to fix anything tonight. He stood there, barefoot, stuck between wanting to stop me and not knowing how. I felt bad for him. That surprised me. I'd expected anger or guilt. Instead, it was calm, heavy, but calm. Here's my one honest break with you once I decided. It got easier, scarier, but easier. Daniel swallowed. Let me drive you. I hesitated, then nodded. As we walked out, I didn't look back at the kitchen. I already knew what it looked like. We didn't talk much in the car. That wasn't dramatic, just heavy. The kind of quiet that tells you both people are thinking the same thing, but don't know how to start. I booked a last-minute ticket to my sister's place the moment I closed the laundry room door. I didn't need a destination. I just needed a departure. Daniel kept his eyes on the road, hands tight on the wheel. After a minute, he said, I should have asked more questions. I didn't answer right away. I didn't want to rush him past it. I thought keeping things calm was helping. He added, I see now it wasn't. That was new. Not an excuse. Not a defense. Just ownership. It's easier to stay quiet. I told him, until it isn't. He nodded. I'm sorry I let it get there. I believed him. That mattered more than him sounding perfect. We pulled up to the terminal. The automatic doors hissed open and shut. One smell of burnt coffee drifted out. That was it. One detail. Enough. He parked and turned to me. You're not running away. No, I said, I'm stepping back. He took his phone out, typed something, then turned the screen so I could see it. Mom isn't cooking. That was the whole message. No explanation. No softening. You don't have to do that, I said. I do. He replied. This part's on me. I watched him send it. A small thing, but it felt like a line being drawn. He walked me inside, stood with me while I checked in, didn't rush, didn't hover. Before I went through security, he said, whatever happens today, I've got you. I squeezed his arm, not tight, just enough. Here's my one aside to you, support doesn't always look loud. Sometimes it's one sentence, sent at the right moment. I turned and walked toward the gate. I didn't look back this time either. My phone started buzzing before my plane even leveled out. Not one call. A stack of messages. Daniel first. They're here. Then another. All of them. I didn't answer. I watched the typing dots come and go. Then Erin's name popped up. I hadn't heard from her since dawn. Where are you? No punctuation. That's how I knew she was panicking. Daniel called. I let it ring once, then picked up. They arrived expecting a feast. Erin had sent them pictures of prep days ago, pictures she'd stolen from Pinterest to keep the lie going. The shock on their faces wasn't just about the food. It was about the fraud. What do they see? I asked. He exhaled. Nothing. That word hit harder than I expected. No trays. No heat. No noise. He went on. Someone opened the oven like it was a joke. I pictured it anyway. I couldn't help it. The quiet kitchen. The counters bare. No smell of garlic. No clatter. Just space. Erin grabbed the phone from him. I could hear it. Why would you do this? She snapped. Not crying. Angry. Cornered. I didn't agree to cook. I replied. Calm. My voice surprised me. You knew people were coming. Yes. Then how could you just leave us like this? Interesting choice. Behind her. I heard voices. A woman laughing. Someone else saying, maybe it's catered too hopeful. Another voice. Older. Didn't you say your mother-in-law was handling everything? Erin didn't answer them. She whispered into the phone. They're asking about you. Daniel took it back. Aunt Carol's making jokes. Not nice ones, someone in the background said. So what's the plan? Someone else added. I skipped lunch for this. Daniel lowered his voice. They're looking at Aaron hard. I didn't gloat. I swear I didn't. I just listened. A man I didn't recognize spoke up loud enough to hear. So who was cooking silence? Thick. Even through the phone. Then Aaron. Louder than she meant to be. She's not here. Where is she? Another woman asked. Aaron hesitated. That hesitation did more damage than the truth. She left. That was it. That was the moment. The whispers changed tone. You can hear that shift. Curiosity turns sharp. People lean in. People decide. One voice, dry. Left how another, softer, but worse. After being asked to cook for everyone, Aaron tried to laugh. It came out wrong. It's not like that. Daniel cut in. It is like that. I closed my eyes. Not because I was overwhelmed, because it was finally happening without me buffering the impact. Someone joked. Guess we're doing a fasting dinner. No one laughed this time. Erin came back on, her voice cracked. Erin hissed into the phone. You're making me look like a monster in front of my boss, I replied. No, Erin, I'm just letting you look like yourself. You provided the guests. I provided the reality. Enjoy the takeout. I didn't raise mine. You invited them. A beat. Then the line went quiet. Not hung up, just no one talking. Here's the thing I'll say once. To you. Not them, I didn't leave to punish anyone. I left because I was tired of being the reason things worked. Daniel texted a final update a few minutes later. They're ordering takeout. It's bad. I set my phone face down. The cabin hummed. That one sound. Enough. Somewhere back home, 20 people stood in a clean house with nothing to eat. And for the first time, that wasn't my problem. Daniel texted again an hour later. No one's helping. That tracked. He called after that. I answered this time. His voice sounded different. Not rushed anymore. Flattened. They're all sitting around. He told me. Phone's out. Jokes dying mid-sentence. Anyone offer to cook? I asked. No. A pause. Then, someone asked Erin if she burned something. I could picture her face without trying. The tight smile, the way she straightens her back when she's losing ground. He kept talking. Her friend Melissa asked if this was some kind of theme, like minimalism. That bad worse, he replied. My uncle asked if you quit. That word landed. Quit. Like this was a job I'd clocked out of. What did Erin say? I asked. She told them you needed space. He scoffed quietly. Nobody bought it. In the background. I heard raised voices. Not yelling. That stage before yelling. Judgment, dressed as concern. Daniel lowered his voice. They're looking at her like she set you up. She did. I said, I know, he replied. No hesitation this time. He went quiet for a few seconds. Then, I'm standing in the kitchen right now. And it's clean, he said. Too clean. Like a showroom. Nothing happening. That's when it hit him. I could hear it in the way his breathing changed. You were the only reason this ever worked, he added. Every holiday, every gathering. I didn't rush to comfort him. I let that truth sit. She's crying now, he went on. Not loud. Just enough for people to notice. Anyone step in? I asked. No, he said again. Firmer. The silence wasn't polite. It was judgmental. In our circle, forcing an elderly mother-in-law to cook for 20 people at 4 a.m. isn't just a mistake. It's a social scandal. They weren't helping because they didn't want to be accomplices to her greed. That's the part that stays with you. Not the shouting. The watching. Here's my one aside. Just between us when things fall apart in public, people don't grab tools. They grab opinions. Daniel exhaled hard. I didn't realize how much you covered for us. I did. I said. I just didn't say it. He didn't respond right away. Then, quietly. I should have. Yes, I answered. Not angry, just honest. The call ended soon after. Not dramatic. No goodbye speech. Just the sound of a house finally feeling as empty as it looked. I was sitting in a plastic chair near a window when Daniel called again. Not pacing, not spiraling, just sitting there, feeling oddly level, like my body finally caught up to a decision my head made hours ago. Mom? He started, then stopped. No script this time. Can you come back? I didn't answer right away. I checked the time. Not because it mattered. Because I could. Not today. I told him. He exhaled. The house is a mess. Aaron's barely holding it together. I'm not surprised. I mean, he corrected himself. I know that's not your problem. I need you here. That was new. Not we need. I need. I'll come back. I said, but not like before. He went quiet, waiting. First, I continued. I'm not cooking for surprise groups again. Ever. If people are invited, I'm told before the invites go out. Agreed. He said quickly. Second, if Erin wants to host, she hosts. Planning, food, cleanup. I help if I offer. Not because it's assumed. Another pause. Then, okay. Third, I added, slower now. When I'm being pushed into something, you speak up. In the moment. Not later. Not in private. He swallowed. I could hear it. I can do that. I told Daniel, I spent 40 years being the glue of this family. From now on, I am the stone. You can build around me, but you will never step on me again. The silence on the other end of the line was the first time I felt heard. I understand. He replied, and this time, I believed him. Here's my one aside to you. It's strange how authority feels when you stop raising your voice. It's quieter, heavier. I'll pick you up when you're ready, Daniel offered. I'll let you know, I said. We hung up. I didn't feel victorious. I didn't feel guilty either. I sat there a little longer, hands in my lap, not asking anyone what to do next. That was new. I came back 2 days later. Not announced, not dramatic. Daniel picked me up and didn't rush the drive. That mattered. Erin was at the table when we walked in. No phone, no list, just her hands folded like she'd practiced that part. She didn't look at me. She looked at the floor. She wasn't just sorry. She was terrified of the social fallout. Daniel had told the truth to everyone, and her perfect reputation was in pieces. She needed my presence to fix her image. Daniel didn't jump in to soften it. He stood there and let it land. We're using catering for gatherings. He said, clear. I already set it up. No surprises. Erin nodded. That's fair. I didn't say forgiveness. I didn't need to. I said, if I cook, it's because I want to, not because it's expected. Understood, Daniel replied. Immediate. No bargaining. Here's the life lesson, and I'll keep it plain because fancy words lie being capable doesn't mean being available. If you never set the boundary, someone else will set it for you and they won't ask. We ate that night from boxes with labels on them. Not homemade. Still warm. Still fine. Before I went to bed, Daniel said, thanks for coming back. I didn't come back for the kitchen. I told him. I came back for the terms. Near the end here, if this story hit something for you, like it, leave a comment with where you're listening from and subscribe. These stories travel better when we share them. I washed my mug, just one, left the rest. I still cook, just not on command.